Hey, what's up, Recovered on Purpose family? Thank you so much for tuning in for this week's episode of Weekend Recap right here on the Recovered on Purpose show. Today, we're going to be talking about fellowship outside of fellowships, how we can find hobbies in our recovery, and then how we can actually go after them. And today, I have some really exciting news for you guys, some exciting things to share with you. So, really excited you're here. Keep living Recovered on Purpose.
The black represents the darkness from which we came. The white represents the light in which we now live. And the red represents the passion it takes to live recovered on purpose.
What's up, everyone? Super excited that you are here for Weekend Recap right here on the Recovered on Purpose show. Super excited about this episode. We're going to be talking about hobbies and finding fellowship outside of fellowships. Go ahead and drop in the comments if you're watching this on the replay. If you're here live, let me know where you're coming in from, what your clean and sober date is, because we always celebrate recovery time right here on the Weekend Recap. So guys, love that you're all here. Super excited about this episode. I have been diving into something new this week that I'm really excited about sharing it with you guys. And this is something that all of us need to be doing in our recovery. You saw last week we did an episode about relapse prevention, and one of the best ways that we can start to get into a new life that we can count on, where we're not thinking about drugs and alcohol, is to start filling our time. Start filling it with things that we love. Start living for a purpose. Start living for, something greater than ourselves. And at times in our schedule, we need to be living for ourselves. We need to be doing things that we enjoy doing. We need to be living a life that we've always wanted to live. And that's what recovery is all about. What we're super blessed to have. And we couldn't follow our dreams. We couldn't do these things that we always wanted to do while we were addicted. But why would we not go back to them now? What are we missing out on that, as kids, we always wanted to do? So Herrera Juan, good to see you. Yes, recovery greetings from Denver. Denver, brother, let's go. That's where I'm from. Love you, man. Good to see you. I wonder if we know a lot of the same people in that community out there. Where are you at in Denver? Would love to know that. Melissa, super sorry that's going on right now. There's always a time. You're always welcome back. I've never met any recovery community, no matter what it was, if it was a fellowship, if it was, some kind of church or anything. I've never heard of anybody shaming someone for their relapse. So just know that we're here for you, know that we love you. And I'm really glad that you're here. And, doctors have actually differentiated between something called a lapse and then a relapse. And someone that relapsed, they had to have actually abstained from drugs and alcohol for 30 days or more in order for it to actually be called a relapse. So, and what happens is after those 30 days, what some doctors are saying is that the first use or drink is a lapse. And then the relapse is when we actually go back into uncontrolled drinking and using. If you haven't gotten to that point yet where you're using and drinking out of control, where you can't stop, it's time to stop right now. Get back in your fellowship, get back in your program, get back in the foundational work that you were doing that got you the clean and sober time before. So let's get back into it. If there's anything I can do to support you, anyone in this community would love to hear from you. Everybody that ever comes on this page is just amazing. I'm continually just blessed by the people that follow this page, the people that come in. So never feel, any kind of way about it. We just got to get you back in here. I live in downtown Denver, but you're very welcome to come to my restaurant. I actually, I'm from Denver, but right now I am coming to you from Medellin, Colombia. So I'm not there right now, but next time I visit, I would love to, bro. And I actually lived in Lohi. The last place I lived in Denver was like right off of Zunai and like 29th. So really close to downtown, spent a lot of time there. And I actually lived off of Curtis and 15th from like October 2020 until January 2021, something like that. So I'm in Denver downtown. Yep. Welcome to come to my restaurant, El Taco Velos, 72nd and Federal Boulevard. Bro, I am pretty sure that I've actually been there. I'm pretty sure that I've actually been, I don't know if it was how long you've had it open, but congrats, brother. Awesome. I was cleaning for C13, and I don't know what that is, Melissa, but we got you. Andrew coming to you from Miami today. Andrew, I know that you were set to do some speaking. Was it Wednesday? I didn't hear from you on how that went. How'd it go? How'd you feel? Andrew's a good friend of mine, and he's actually in the Recovery Speakers Share Your Story Powerfully course, and he actually just shared his story on Wednesday. So super excited about that. Awesome. So guys, let's hop into the message for today, and we're talking about fellowship outside of fellowships. And what I mean by fellowships are like 12-step fellowships, or church communities, things like that a lot of us get involved in, which are amazing. We need that kind of foundational work. We need that spiritual fitness, that kind of fellowship with people that relate to us on our specific disease. But there's all these kinds of things that make us different from each other as well. We have one common bond when it comes to what we used to suffer with, right? Addiction, alcoholism, that kind of stuff. But in our recovery, when we're becoming this new person, when we're becoming into ourselves again, we are not just an addict. An addict is not our identity. I do not take on that I'm an addict as my identity. There's so many other things to me. There's so many other things to you. And we're able to find these things now that we're in recovery. What do you love to do? So one thing we have to be aware of, and guys, I created these banners so to make some talking points, is boredom and spare time. If we are in our recovery, and this is almost like relapse prevention again. So a lot of the things that we do in our recovery are not, we don't have to think about it as relapse prevention. We can think of it as building our life again. But building our life is relapse prevention, because the ultimate goal is for us to stay clean and sober, long-term, permanent recovery, and help others to find recovery. If we have a lot of time, a lot of spare time, if we're finding ourselves where we're bored in our recovery, we're not filling our time with something that we want to do, that's a dangerous place to be, because we'll find ourselves, with a lot of thoughts going on in our head, a lot of thoughts about what we could do. Sometimes those will go to places that we don't want to go, and we'll start going into a mental relapse where we start thinking about what it used to be like to drink and use. I don't know about you guys, but it was very rare when I was in my addiction where I actually felt, a sense of boredom, because either I was using drugs or I was hunting drugs. There was always something going on, some kind of like drama, some kind of suspense. I don't know how I'm going to make the money today. I don't know if I'm going to get the drugs today. And then if I had the drugs, then I wasn't bored because I was getting high the whole time. And in our recovery, we need to find things to fill our spare time with. And how do we do that? So one thing is a healthy routine. And a healthy routine is, this is not just for people in recovery, but this is something that, is extremely, extremely beneficial for us in recovery. Having a routine and something that we do every single day, whether it's the morning or an evening routine, or if it's something we do in the middle of the day, having something that we know that we're doing is incredibly healthy. And a healthy routine could be something like, I pray, I meditate, I journal, I read my Bible. I love my Bible. There's certain things that are routine that keep us in the motion of, going towards progress, continuing to progress in our recovery, continuing to build ourselves up. The gym is also a really good thing to add into a healthy routine. Obviously, we all know that. We've all heard exercise and healthy eating will give us these results, but a lot of us haven't done that yet. What's stopping us? What's stopping us from actually going at having this healthy routine that we know will be good for us? We know we want to do that. So why is it that we haven't done it yet? I want you to ask yourself that. I want you to ask yourself that right now. What is that thing that you've wanted to add into your routine that you know would be beneficial for you? And there's an exercise I teach in a video. I'm going to actually share part of that video today. Super excited about. But it's an if I, then I exercise. So if I, you write at the top left of a page, if I, and you write whatever that thing is that you want to add to your life. So if I go to the gym 4 days per week, and then on the other side, you say, then and you write the results that would happen from you adding that into your healthy routine. So I will feel better about my body. I will be stronger. I will be healthier. I will release and relieve stress and anxiety. There will be much less likelihood of suffering from depression if you go to the gym, if you exercise, that kind of stuff. So then you write all the positive impact that it'll have on your life on the other side. And by doing this, you'll start to be able to pick and choose which ones you want to add now. And when it comes to a healthy routine, make sure that you're not like piling on 10 different things all at once. The best way to build a healthy routine is to do it by adding habits and stacking habits. It's a habit stack. I can't remember if that's in Atomic Habits or if it's in The Power of Habit. It's one of the books I read. And stacking these habits will actually create this routine, but you do it one at a time, one habit at a time. Because if all of a sudden you're like, I'm going to read 10 pages a day, I'm going to go to the gym for an hour a day, I'm going to meditate 20 minutes a day, I'm going to pray 4 times a day, and you add all these things in, then the first couple days you might get it. But then on the third day, if you miss one, there's a really strong possibility that you'll just not do all of them the next day. So add one, pick a specific time, when you're going to do it, what you're going to do, and do it for, 21 days, 26 days, something around the month mark, and then add something else in. Once you've done it for a certain amount of time in a row where it's become your routine, this is what you're doing now, then add something else in. It's called habit stacking. And by doing this, you're going to compound the results in your life. This could be, if it's health that you're after, start out with, I'm going to cut out, fast food. And then once you've cut out fast food for 21 days, it's a habit. I don't eat fast food anymore. Then you stack in there, I'm going to go to the gym Monday, Wednesday, Friday in the morning at 8 a.m. And then you do that for 21 days. All of a sudden you're feeling good. You're loving this new healthy body. You're loving this way that you feel from it. All right, you know what I'm going to do now? I'm going to do a meal plan. I'm going to do a meal plan where they bring healthy food to my house and that kind of stuff. And I'm using these examples because these are things that I've done. And recently, actually, about 4 weeks ago now, I went to my first MMA training in a long time. And when I went, the way that my body felt when I was throwing strikes and stuff, I just knew, like inside of my body, that I could feel that my nutrition was wrong. So the next day I was like, it's done. I'm not doing this Rappi service anymore because I work here so much right at this desk that ordering food is much easier than, going and making it and spending all this time shopping and doing all this stuff. So I would just order it. I found this service where they literally deliver all 3 meals every day, super healthy meals, perfect, and makes so I can just go in, grab my food, come back in and work. So, and then stacking these habits just makes you able to build a healthy routine. I'm going to hop back in the comments. What's up, Johanna? Good to see you. Good day, Aaron, coming in from Australia. Love that. Johanna coming in from Colombia, probably in Barranquilla. It's hard to figure out what you like to do when you just like to drink. I get that. We're going to go into that today. We're going to go into that. January 16th, 2022. Let's go. Let's go. Jeremy coming in. Smart date for the rest of my best life. Amen, Jeremy. I'm super happy you're here. Love to see you always. Love you, brother. Adam and family, big love. Love this family. This is a healthy routine. Amen, Jeremy. And this is something you can do. I don't say that I'm the only page to follow in recovery. I don't act like that at all. I think that there's a lot of communities out there, a lot of great pages, a lot of great people that are doing live videos, that are creating these communities, and having it in your routine to, there's so many pages in recovery that there's probably one of us going live every single day of the week that you can find, and you can join in that community. It can be part of your routine to be in the recovery community online, be talking to people, be learning from people, be supporting people. There's people that are relapsing that are coming in these videos that you could literally, and Melissa is struggling right now. Any one of you out there right now could send her a message, just say, hey, how you doing? I saw you in the live video, and just wanted to check on you and see if there's anything I can do for you. That's an amazing, amazing thing to do for somebody. And not only will you help her, but you'll be helping yourself, because we know that the way that the number one thing that our mind should be focused on in our recovery that guarantees permanent recovery is serving others. How am I going to serve someone else today? What can I do to serve someone else today? Because when our mind gets fixated on something that we're going to do today to help someone else, we're not going to have the space to think about using or drinking. It just doesn't happen. We don't have it. That is the W, few a minute a week. I get it. South Jersey jumping in head first and strong in my sobriety through recovery. Amen. Makes sense. I get it. For me, the more difficult thing about keep my sobriety is fight against the cravings. Okay, so let's talk about this. There's a little bit of a difference between, not a little bit, there's a lot of bit of a difference between cravings and obsession. So a craving is actually something that happens when we are introduced to a mind-altering substance. If we take a drink or we have a drug that comes into our body begins to crave drugs and alcohol. It's a physical allergy. It's something that happens to us that makes us want more and more and more. The thoughts that make us want to use once the drugs and alcohol are out of our system, it's an obsession. It's something that our mind is different than other people's minds. Why is it that we can't stay stopped? Why is it that we can't stop thinking about using? Why is it that we can't stop thinking about what it would be like to be at the bar right now? I was actually on a call with someone right before this that was explaining the same thing. And he just, I used to sit at my desk and at 10:30 in the morning, I would be like, I can't wait for 5 o'clock when I go to the bar. And it's just like my mind was fixated there and I didn't know what to do. That's an obsession. And the way that we get rid of that, one of the things is by what we're talking about tonight, adding hobbies, not having that downtime, not having that boredom time, and doing things that we love to do and building things that we want to build and serving people. Glad everyone that could make it made it. You're all amazing human beings of love and light. Amen. Amen. Hello from Bryan, Ohio. What's up, Tanya? Good to see you. Hello, hello. There is a lot of communities out there, but this is my home group, and I love my family here. I do network with others, but this is my favorite one. I love you, Jeremy. You're my favorite one too, bro. You're my favorite one too. All right, and you're all my favorite, just to make that clear. I always say that, I'm God's favorite because I absolutely believe 100% that I'm God's favorite child he ever made. And I also believe that you are. You that are watching this and listening to this right now, you are God's absolute favorite, 100%. All right. So these are actually the benefits of creating the healthy routine, okay? So being able to unwind and relax, having the routine in your life that, you know that this is going to happen. You know that you're going to the gym at this time. You know that you're going to do this hobby at this time on this day. You're able to, unwind, relax from work, from, step work, even from recovery work, all that, because you have this routine over here that your mind is going to be focused on. You're going to be in this present time doing your routine. And one thing that I just believe this 100%. Okay. And this is someone that is heavily involved in fellowships. I love my fellowship communities. I love everybody. I love the process of it. I think they're incredible. And I think a meeting a day for 90 days, at the beginning of recovery is a lifesaver. And I believe that at a certain point, we can add other things in, and the meetings become less of a 100% top priority in our recovery over building a life that we want to live. Okay. That doesn't mean that recovery moves down in the ranks for priority. That means it actually moves up, because adding something in, if we're going to a meeting every single day, 7 days a week, we're working 9 to 5, we go home, we eat, we get dressed, we get ready, and we go to the meeting, then we go home, we sleep, and we do it again. It's a great routine. Now, on Saturdays and Sundays, there's nothing wrong with missing a meeting to go do something you love. There is nothing wrong with that, and don't let anybody tell you that there is. if you want to add something into one day and take everything recovery out, meetings, all that kind of stuff, and add in one day where it's just for you, I'm going to go do this activity, I'm going to do this hobby, I'm going to add this into my life, that is a good thing. It's healthy for you. You want to build a life that you love and make sure that you're doing things that you love, because that's ultimately going to make you in a place where you're happy with your life, you're joyful, you're content, and you're ready to keep going with it. You're ready to keep going. You're making it worth it. Okay. So another one is learning new skills, both for professional and personal life. So something that I've been doing this week, I'm super excited about. I've been learning how to actually create, and it's actually been a couple weeks now that I've been doing it, but actually created a bunch of videos that are going to start releasing tonight right at the end of this show. It actually, the first one releases on YouTube. I'm going to share part of it tonight, but super excited about it. So learning new skills is, you can use it for personal life, for business life, if you want to, increase your value in your career life, right? Maybe you take a class on, WordPress because you want to learn how to build websites. Maybe that'll help you. That skill will be good for you. Plus, that skill would be good for personal life also. Maybe you want to build your own website on, your own brand. Maybe you want to build your own website with a blog or something like that. The learning new skills will continue to keep you going and knowing that you are progressing in your life and recovery, and learning new things, and constantly it gives you something. Oh, it actually is the next one. It gives you things to look forward to. And this is a huge value add to our recovery. Having something that is going on, some future date, some future time that we are looking forward to. When we're looking forward to something going on, then the time from now to that time, we can't relapse. We can't think about going out and drinking and using, because this thing isn't going to happen. And I'm not talking about if you are stuck in the phenomenon of craving where you can't stop using, because setting things out in the future a lot of times will let us down, because I wasn't able to ever fulfill on most things in my addiction. And it was like a trauma cycle. It's like constantly saying I'm going to do this thing, and then I can't show up. Constantly saying I'm going to make this thing happen, and doesn't happen. But in our recovery, setting goals, setting things that we're looking forward to, having hobbies or activities, or having a class that we're taking that we're looking forward to the graduation. Or for me, when I was writing my book, I can't even tell you how much I was focused and looking forward to that book releasing. And for those 5 weeks that I was writing it, my mind was nowhere else except that release date, that launch date, my 2 years clean and sober. I'm going to be an author. I'm going to be a published author. And looking forward to these things keeps us steadfast. It keeps us excited about recovery. It keeps us excited about life, because in our recovery, we want to shift the focus as much as possible and as quick as possible from I'm battling drugs and alcohol to I'm progressing and living a life I love. Because if we keep our mindset focused on battling drugs, then we're constantly going to be in the battle. We're constantly going to be, thinking that if I don't do this, then I'm going to use. If I don't do this, then I'm going to drink. And if we're in that battle, then what happens when we have something show up? When something shows up that we can't do this thing over here, that's going to put us in a place where, it's a dangerous place to be. So in my 100% opinion and belief, you can have your own on this, but when we shift our focus to a life we love and building a life we love, we're able to stop thinking about using drugs and alcohol, period. When we're no longer battling it and we're actually focused on building a life we love, then we're building a life we love and we're no longer battling it. And I know it's like this weird circle and paradox that keeps going around, but it's true. We want to focus on building a life we love in our recovery. In the early stages of recovery, in the first 30, 60, 90, 6 months of recovery, even in the first year sometimes, We need to focus on building the foundation, building the healthy foundation of recovery, the program that we're working, the things that we do every single day that keep us in the state of recovered, spiritual fitness. But then on this other side, when we have this foundation built in our life and we come over here, we have that built. We're doing it. We're doing it every day. We're doing these things we have to do. Now on this other side, let's focus on, okay, how do I build a life I love? What could I add to my life that I love? And then we do it because we have the opportunity to, because our foundation has been built. So another benefit of the healthy routine is you're able to explore your creativity. And this is something that, every single one of you out there has. We were created by a creator to be creators. Creativity is divinity. There's something to it when we have something that we want to build, that we want to make, that we want to, create, and we do it. We were built for that. And there's all kinds of different ways that we can look at the word create. For instance, I wanted to create a book. There was a whole process to creating the book. There was a whole process to writing it, publishing it, getting the cover photos done, getting the cover done and everything. And in that process, I felt like I was the creator. I was the creator of this book. Creating a life that you love in recovery. You are the creator of that life. Creating, lunch. Something as simple as creating lunch, cooking yourself a meal. These kinds of things put us in a state of, exploration of what we're able to do. Maybe we want to explore, our taste buds. So we start adding new things into lunch. We start adding new things into dinner, whatever it is that we want to do. Maybe I want to try this food and see if I like that. Oh, I really like that. Maybe I'll add this kind of sauce into it or whatever it is. And I'm using this as, an example, but there's so many different ways to explore our creativity. And by exploring our creativity, we're going to be excited. We're going to be excited when we're doing something we love, and it takes our creative mind in order to make that happen. So another thing, we'll be able to discover hidden talents. Every single one of you out there was given unique and special gifts specifically for you. You were created for a purpose, on purpose, and you're here right now. You are here right now in this time to make that thing happen. So by doing this, by creating a healthy routine, by, if it's reading, if it's meditating and praying, these kinds of things, if it's exercise, you will, and you're focused on it, you're doing this routine, your mind will not be focused on work, will not be focused on, this other thing that you're struggling with, or your this family life or whatever else. And when you're in this healthy routine, your mind is actually being given a whole bunch of free space where it's not focused on this thing over here. So ideas can generate, ideas can come up, things about you that you never knew will come up while you're doing this healthy routine, and you can discover hidden talents. Maybe you are incredible at writing, but you never wrote because, one teacher one time gave you a C on a paper or something. Who knows? There's so many different hidden talents to explore and look at. And the way that you can tell a talent that you are like a gift, something that God gave you to do, is that when you start doing it, not when you're thinking about it, when you actually start doing that thing, it comes simply, and you love doing it. You like doing it. Like, you don't always have to be like really excellent and super good at it right now, this moment. But when you start doing it, you see how you could make this good. You could get better at this. And you have some kind of desire within you. Like, that would be fun. I would like doing that. And that's my definition of talent. And I just came up with that because it's been my experience with certain things. But looking at something that you are trying for the first time, and you like it, you want to do it, and you could see yourself improving at it. There's certain things that I I just can't do. I don't want to learn. I have no talent in it. For instance, let's say, and some things I still do just because I need to, but let's say, graphic design, right? I have done certain things where, I had to figure this out and this out and this out to put it together to make a graphic design. And it took me like 3 hours. And then I send it to a graphic design artist and he sends me something back that's like 10 times better in 5 minutes. So how is it that I'm like spending all this time doing this thing and then I can't get the product that I actually like in 3 hours and then 5 minutes this other person does it, right? And this is for all kinds of different things. I'm just using examples again. This could be utilized for any talent that you find, okay? And discovering something that you want to do that has a talent in it doesn't always have to have, I don't even want to use that term. It doesn't have to have any kind of money attached to it. There's something to having something that you love in your life, that you want to get better at, that you want to keep doing and doing it. It makes you feel alive. It makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you, feel like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And while you're discovering that, have fun with it. Have fun trying new things out. And we're going to talk about how to find things as well. I see someone doing an angry reaction right now. I don't know what's going on. Maybe it was a mistake, but let's go in the comments. Why is it hard to not when you say no when everything is crazy? I know, Melissa. I know where you're at, girl. You can send me, Melissa. You can send me a message to this page, and we can get chatting in there. Okay. Try new positive things with recovery. It's okay to experiment in positive ways. Amen. Mental Health Day. Yes. Amen. Exactly, Adam. Do and try new things that you actually love and enjoy, things you've always wanted to do but never could because of your past active addictions. Exactly. Pinky, good to see you. A life beyond our wildest dreams. That doesn't mean there won't be trials and tribulations. Life on life's terms. Thank you. Exactly. This is exactly it. In our recovery, it's very rare that I hear someone promise that, life in recovery is nothing but rainbows, butterflies, and bunnies. It would be amazing. It would be amazing if everything in life was always joyful and happy and everything. Or maybe it wouldn't. Because if everything was always happy, joy, bunnies, rainbows, all that, how could we actually enjoy it without knowing the other side of it? Without understanding the pain, without understanding the trials. And I can tell you that the best feelings that I get in life are when I have to do something. I have to put in hard work. I have to, set aside, pleasures or other things that I want to do right now in order to sit down and do this thing. It's more fulfilling to really go through the trials, the tribulations, making it on the other side, and becoming the person that is able to make it through those things. Every single person on here right now, even Melissa, even though you have relapsed right now, you know how to recover. Each and every person on here right now is someone that can recover from drugs and alcohol. Even if you're listening to this and you never have before, I promise you, everyone in here that's in recovery will tell you that not only is it possible, but it is likely if you do the work. If you do what is necessary to recover, you will recover, period. Yes, Adam, idea will generate. At the same time, you will be living in the now, which doesn't give time for anxiety and worry. It will fall to the wayside the minute you focus on what you're doing positively. Amen. And good to see you. Awesome, dude. Amen. Guys, we're going to take a quick 30-second break and we'll be right back. What's up, Recovered on Purpose family? I hope you're enjoying this episode as much as I do when I'm making them. Guys, if you're getting any value from this, if you're seeing any golden nuggets that you want to share with your community, make sure that you are. You're sharing it with your groups, you're sharing it with your personal page or your pages, or to that one person that you're thinking of right now in their messengers so that they get this message. And guys, the brand new Recovered on Purpose website is up, and it has a whole bunch of different merchandise and resources and the free calls with me. So make sure you're checking out recoveredonpurpose.com after the show. And if you are a loved one of an addict, if you have a kid that's suffering an addiction, I'm now doing free calls so we can strategize and find out how we can get them clean and keep them clean. Love you guys so much and enjoy the rest of the show. All right. Amen. 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 And for you that are just coming on right now, what we've been talking about are the benefits of a healthy routine and being able to, get rid of boredom and spare time, things like that in our recovery in order to, have something that we're doing, have something that we're working on in our recovery. And everything is obviously we can look back at it as relapse prevention. But in reality, what I like to look at is building a life we love, building a purpose that we love. So if you want to learn the, how many is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, like 6 different things for benefits of a healthy routine. You can go back and watch that. But I actually missed one. So making new friends. And that's what this show is about. So having these, getting rid of this spare time, getting rid of this boredom, and exploring a healthy routine, exploring hobbies, exploring activities and things that we want to do, we will actually be able to build fellowship outside of fellowships. If you're someone that loves to play basketball, you used to love playing basketball before you were an addict, before you ended up, unable to stop using drugs and you couldn't play basketball anymore. If you love playing basketball and you go to, the rec center in your area and you start doing pickup games, what happens is that you start making friends that like to play basketball. Maybe you show up 2 times a week, and those 2 days a week, there's like 6 other guys or girls that always show up those 2 days. All of a sudden, you have a community, and after a certain amount of time, you get to know each other. You get to know, each other's stories, what each other do, and everything like that. And if you relate in other things outside of basketball, maybe you hang out outside of basketball also. Maybe you both like to go hiking, so you decide to go hiking. Maybe you both want to try skydiving, so you go skydiving together. In these new activities, these new healthy routines and these hobbies, you're going to find new fellowship, you're going to find new friends. And obviously, we need our fellowship, we need our recovery community and the people that we relate to with that. But there's so much more to relate to this world than being an addict. I can't stress enough, your identity is not your addiction, period, especially in recovery. You don't have to hold on to that identity for the rest of your life. You are loved, you are different, you're unique, and I love you. All right. So questions. Okay. So actually, I'm going to show you guys something before we go into questions to ask yourself for finding hobbies, because I'm really excited about this. So in 23 minutes, the first weekly video is coming out on the YouTube channel. And what I'm doing now is every Friday at 7 p.m., as soon as this finishes, a produced video is coming out on YouTube. Something that is to serve our community, something that, some kind of thing that will help addicts out there. So this week's episode or this week's video is a full-on video for relapse prevention. And if you haven't yet, make sure that you download the free worksheet. I made a whole free relapse prevention worksheet. It's got, a list of like 40 different positive affirmations. It's got exercises in it to find out who you are, what you want in your life, find out why you quit using drugs and alcohol in the first place, what actually made it so that you could stop using drugs and alcohol. And in this worksheet, you'll get clear on why it is that you quit, how you quit, and what you want to do with your life now. And then there's other exercises within there that I just really recommend that you check it out. Totally free. So the hobby that I've picked up is creating videos and editing videos. And I'm going to have fun with this. I'm going to start adding new things in, learning new techniques and things. But this is Adam here. Today's video is about relapse and relapse prevention. We're going to cover what relapse actually is, the statistics of addicts relapsing, during this video,
3 stages and warning signs of gradual relapse,
it took me a while,
and the best techniques to prevent relapse in your recovery.
I'm using a teleprompter. I don't have it in here right now, but edit this whole thing to get
make sure you subscribe to this channel and hit the bell to be notified about these videos to encourage you in your life and recovery and find tools and hope for recovery if you are still out there in addiction. First, what is relapse? Relapse is defined as someone suffering from substance use disorder that has abstained from drugs and alcohol for 30 days or more that then goes back to using drugs or drinking. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. You guys can watch this on the channel, on the YouTube channel.
/recovered on purpose. You can just search recovered on purpose on YouTube.
Place to look back
if you're
to,
not
if,
yet,
God forbid,
not yet, please make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because, you know, it supports the community, supports me, supports the movement. And I want to get this message out to as many people as possible, because in this video, I basically break down, you know, what relapse is. I break down, you know, different ways of actually preventing relapse, like the best forms of relapse prevention, the 3 stages of relapse, because where is it? Yeah, there's a joke in it. The 3 stages of relapse, because it doesn't just happen all of a sudden. You don't just like all of a sudden wake up and like, oh, I'm using drugs again now. It's stages. Things happen in our recovery that take us to a place where we relapse. So go over all that in this video. I'm trying to find something. It's probably back here. Let me see.
In your recovery. This list can include exercise, reading, activities, accomplishments,
basically
everything. Hobbies or activities you love to do that keep your mind completely off drugs and alcohol. For me, I love playing basketball. Take care of yourself and in your recovery. This list can include exercise, reading.
All right. Well, can't find it right now. You can watch it. Basically, at my 6 months clean and sober, I went skydiving. I had always wanted to go skydiving my whole adult life, my whole young adult life, but I was never able to get away from drugs and alcohol for long enough to be able to actually, you know, go skydiving. So for my 6 months clean and sober, I went skydiving for the first time to celebrate, and it changed my life. I share a video of me skydiving in there, and what happens when we do these things from our bucket list, these things that we've always wanted to do, and we do them in our recovery, and we reward ourselves for the hard work that we've put in to find recovery, we're going to be able to, you know, have that feeling that we deserve this, because you do deserve it. You deserve the life that you've always wanted to live. There was something that was happening to you in your addiction that was taking you away from the life that God actually wrote for you, the purpose for your life, the joy that you're supposed to feel in life, the happiness, the love that you're supposed to feel in your life. And whatever that was going on over here that was taking that from you, when we're in our recovery, it's no longer there. And when you have the opportunity to really go after what you've always wanted to do, you got to take it. You deserve it. If you're in recovery, you battled something that 90% or more of the planet will never understand, the battle that you went through, the work that you actually had to put in order to find recovery. You deserve to do the things that you've always wanted to do. Okay, hop in the comments real quick. I just graduated relapse prevention on Tuesday. That's a celebration. Let's go. Let's go, Tanya. Congratulations. And by graduating, I hope that means that you learned all the things that you're going to do in your recovery now to make sure that you continue to, you know, live in recovery. I love that. Congratulations. Amen. Amen. Celebration lights off. Good evening, Carrie. Good to see you. Sorry I'm late. Just got home from my cousin's service. Another loss due to drug overdose. Carrie, I'm super sorry. You know, everything I'm doing, everything I do is to lower that rate, is to help people out there that are struggling. That's what all of us are doing, right? And I believe that us in recovery, you know, no matter how many people we lose, there's still someone out there that each and every person on this video right now or watching the replay is counting on you. I believe that with everything inside of me, that there is someone out there that will only find recovery if you help them. I just believe that. I'm almost 2 years sober. God knows I had to fight my bad habits to get on a healthy routine. Look now, almost 2 years sober, all God's grace. Almost 2 years. I don't know what almost means, but almost is good enough for the celebration lights. I love it. And Pinky, I love seeing you in here. Thank you for coming in. Great to see you. Amen, amen. Amen. How do I get my son to rehab? I keep planting the seed, keep telling him he is worth it. I love him so much. He's homeless, states away. I'm so worried. Dana, send me a message. You can also go to recoveredonpurpose.com and click on Get Help Now, and it'll take you to where you can actually book a free call with me, and you can tell me what's going on with him. Tell me the ways that you're able to connect with him, and we'll basically come up with a plan, see what we can do. If I have resources that I can connect you to, all that. So go to recoveredonpurpose.com and book a call with me. I'm in the boonies, no car, but I'm 4 years clean and sober. Amen. Let's go. 4 years clean and sober, in the boonies, no car, and still able to find recovery. Still in the community. That's what this is about. That's what this is about. And Carrie, I remember when you went skydiving. Amen. Amen. That was, so I've been skydiving a few times now. I've actually been skydiving in 3 different countries now, which is I just love it. I love it because it was something that I always wanted to do. And now I have become the person that does things that I want to do that are good for me or good for the planet. I'm just someone that does that now. In my recovery, I made that decision. So, amen. Amen. I'm going to show you guys something. I did it in Reels, and this is something, like I told you guys, a hobby that I've picked up, making videos. Something that I always did was, write poetry. I used to do it all the time. I kind of left it behind, but decided yesterday I wanted to try out what would happen if I, put poetry over motivational music for our community. And this is what came out. There once was a homeless man wandering the streets, lost in his ways and unable to feed himself, much less pay for a roof over his head. Yet he still found ways and means to get the drugs he craved, huh? One day, fed up with the dirt on his face and the shame on his name, he made the decision to do whatever it takes to lift himself up from the hole he had dug. He started with church, a Bible study, and meetings and groups of people just like him. He showed up every day, walking miles with holes in his shoes. Yet he failed, and he failed, and he failed again. The people around him gave him looks of disgust as he raised his hand so many times in a row. But what they didn't know is this man's decision didn't include failure in the end, and falling 100 times only strengthened his legs for the battle set to begin. He looked up to the sky and he screamed in anger, "Nothing is working, God, why am I alive? I've tried everything here, please, I don't want this life." And obviously, I'm working on the audio skills because I just use this microphone right here, using the videos, putting them over music that I find. And you guys just heard the first cut of it, the first try at it. And it's something I love. It's something I love. It's something that I want to do. And I'm aware that that audio, especially now, is not to the standard that I would like it to always be. But like I was talking about earlier, it's something that I love, something that I want to do. It's a skill I want to learn, and I'm going to focus on it. I'm going to focus some time on it, and it's going to help. It's going to help me. It helps me feel alive. And that's what this is about. It's about finding things in your recovery that you love to do and do them. There is nothing stopping you from doing it. Nothing. And then something else, I've wanted to do this for a long time. And this next video, I'm only going to share a clip of it, but because this one's actually coming up next Friday. But positive affirmations. And I wrote a whole list, and I've got like 101 of them, like original positive affirmations specifically designed for addicts in recovery. It's things that I've said to myself. I write affirmations down on my whiteboard and change them every once in a while, and I read them out loud and everything. And by doing this practice, I've kept my mind on a good track, right? And I wanted to share that with the community. This video literally took me 8 hours straight to figure everything out for this video, and see what you guys think. I'm only going to share, like, there's going to be like 3 affirmations that come out of it that I'll share. I am in control of my thoughts, emotions, and feelings. I am in control of the way I act and respond to life. I allow God to take control of all I am not in control of. One more. I take deep breaths and allow my feelings to be understood. Amen. So that's something that I've wanted to do for a long time because there's a lot of things that we have to make sure that we're doing for ourselves in our recovery, that if our mind is thinking about negative things or troubles or whatever, we will forget to do them. We will forget the mindset that we're supposed to have. We can forget things that will focus us on the here and now, on our recovery, and on living our best life. And throughout that, I plug in different things, for recovery specifically, like I forgive him for the harm he caused me. I forgive myself for all the harm I caused others. I forgive her for the harm she caused me. And different affirmations that if you repeat them over and over and over, they become part of your subconscious mind. They become part of how you respond to life, how you show up to life. And I'm aware that, a lot of us say, I'm not in control, I'm powerless, and that kind of stuff, but it's just not true. If you imagine yourself with a hula hoop on the ground, you're standing in the middle of it, you are in control of everything inside that hula hoop, 100%. Everything that you think, everything that you say, everything that you do, act, the way that you move, you are in control of that. Everything outside of that hula hoop is out of your control. It's out of your control. So us having the mindset that we are in control of what we are doing now, now that we're in recovery, because in our addiction, when we had lost control completely, that's a different place than we are right now. But taking that control and using it to serve others, to live our best life, to live and progress and continue to move in our life is where we want to be in our recovery. So next, we're going to talk about questions to ask yourself for finding hobbies. We're going to go through these real quick. We got like 9 minutes and 8 questions. So what did you enjoy before your addiction? And I want you to ask yourself this. What were things that you used to love doing before you ever got addicted to drugs and alcohol? What was it? Sports? Was it writing? Was it poetry? Was it, whatever it was for you? Was it crocheting or drawing or writing? Whatever it was, why did you what activities did you abandon that could bring you joy? So what things did you like to do in the past that you would enjoy doing if you brought it back up? Because sometimes when we leave something in the past, when we used to do something and we decided one day, I can't do that anymore, because I'm on drugs or whatever. Sometimes in our recovery, we'll forget about that thing because in our mind, we have already abandoned it. But would that thing bring you joy now in your recovery? What is it? Why would you not do it now? It's a good question to ask. Why would I not do that right now? What's holding me back from doing that right now? If it's an activity that I used to love, that I abandoned because of drugs and alcohol, that would bring me joy now. Well, you've recovered and you deserve that thing. You deserve that thing back in your life. What have you always wanted to try? And again, this is something that, I did with skydiving. I had always wanted to try skydiving. And I rewarded myself on my 6 months clean and sober by going skydiving, and it changed my life. I was now someone that does things that he says he wants to do, that does activities that he wants to do, that lives the life that he wants to live. Because I did the work to find recovery. And each and every one of you that has found recovery, you deserve to live the life you've always wanted to live. So what have you always wanted to try? Go try it. Make that bucket list. What were your childhood interests and what made you stop? So by asking yourself this, oftentimes right here, we're going to find the answer because I was using drugs and drinking. I decided that my new hobby is shooting heroin. That's it. That's the only hobby I have. And if that's what was taking you away from your real interests, right? Now your interest is a drug or alcohol or whatever it was that trapped you in addiction. But all that did was it stole something from you. It stole your childhood interest from you. So what's stopping you from going back to that? Why wouldn't you go back to those things that used to interest you as a child? Why wouldn't you, try out that hobby, try out that activity, try out, writing or whatever it is that you want to do? All of you out there can spread a message. Each and every one of you can spread a message of hope and recovery. And for each of us, it looks different. Some of us want to create videos. Some of us want to go live and talk to people. Some of us want to speak. Some of us want to create beanies out of crocheting that say, I found recovery. You can too. Or some of us want to draw some super dope art, figure out how to really draw some really good art and spread hope that way. I have seen some of the coolest art on the planet that was related to drugs and alcohol and addiction. Something that was saying, depicting the horror of it or depicting the recovery and the hope of it. So what's stopping you from doing that? Who are your role models and why do you look up to them? By asking yourself this, you're going to find, what that person does that you look up to. Maybe that person is, for me, I love Gary Vee and Russell Brand. Those two guys mixed into a brainchild is what I would like to become. And the reason for that is Gary Vee is he is all for it. He doesn't care what anybody thinks. He says everything he means, and he spreads this incredible message of doing the work and also just 100% love and kindness for everyone, no matter how they come at you. And that's been my belief in my heart even before I found him. And that's what I connected on him with. Just the way that he would talk about, responding to messages and responding to hate and different things like that. It made me look up to him in a way where I was like, all right, I'm going to follow this guy. Not only follow him, I'm going to consume his content, and I'm going to find what it is that I really want to, take from him. I'm actually on his text list. I get a text from him like every day. So, and finding why it is that you look up to them, that will, that'll make it so that you can find the hobbies that you want to do. Like, for instance, Gary Vee is the reason why, I don't want to say the reason why, but he taught me a lot about creating content. He taught me a lot about just pumping out content, helping the people you want to help, serving the community first, serve. And, finding what you're passionate about and doing it. And that's what I'm doing. So also, you can Google new hobbies. Literally just Google, what are some hobbies in my area? Or what's a good hobby for addicts in recovery? You can Google and find new hobbies, find new activities, look for ideas, pick one, do it. Have fun. You can ask friends and family what their favorite hobbies are. Just by asking someone what their favorite hobbies are, maybe they'll give you a list of 3 and be like, oh, that's awesome. I really like that. And you don't really want to do those 3, but you love that they do them. You love that they love them. And then this person over here, like, for instance, this literally happened for me here in Colombia. One of my friends told me about a hobby that he does called paddle tennis. I went and played one time and I was hooked. I'm a paddle tennis player now. I'm not very good yet, but I love it. And in that community, we have a WhatsApp, meetup group where we say what time we're playing, and we have a list, and people put their names on the list and everything. And that is a community that has nothing to do with my addiction or my recovery. We have something in common with that. And out of that, I've made other friends also. I've made friends that are, I actually met a guy, a lot of you may actually know him. He was down here, James Sweeney. If you've ever heard of, I think it's 90 days alcohol free. He went all over the place with marketing and everything, doing programs, helping people get off alcohol. And he was actually here, met him at paddle tennis. Because he asked me what I did, I told him, and he was like, oh, I'm I do something similar. I help people, get off alcohol. I was like, oh yeah, what do you do? And then I was like looking at him, and he shared his program with me. I was like, dude, I have literally seen your ads that popped up like 2 years ago. And now we're friends. He actually shared a video of mine on Instagram for me. So pretty cool. Look up local classes you're interested in. So it's a good community to get into. What is something that you want to learn? You can find really inexpensive college classes. It doesn't have to be headed towards a degree. Sometimes you just want to learn something, get in that community. And then look, you're going to be in a class with a whole bunch of people. Most of them are not going to be in recovery, and you can find people that you have interest with. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. Super, super, super excited about this community, excited about your recovery. I love you. Have a good weekend. Keep living recovered on purpose.